Greetings, ciao, hello, hi, what, konnichiwa? I think that's Japanese. Ciao's the one that I tend to use the most. So here I am in a specialized fit. I just sort of got this. I think this actually came in 2 or 3 days ago. It's my latest suit. It has not been customized yet. I haven't had a chance to take it to the tailor and have it sort of, but I mean, right off the bat, it's really hits all the bells and whistles. Let me adjust the tripod here and back up so you don't have to get an unflattering angle. But let's sort of, before I get to the subject of today's video, let's check out the suit here. Yeah, it's sort of like normal when you buy something off the rack. It needs adjustments, but the shoulder fit is actually surprisingly good, and it doesn't bulk up despite the annoying padding. I just don't know why they do that. It still looks very natural, and it's not too rounded here. You see these roundels areas, that's not really what you want, but the gap between the shoulder, that's actually not bad. I mean, like everything else, this is a little long, but the fit is actually pretty good. You know, either they're improving, which they're incrementally improving, or I am getting better at ordering something off the rack, because that's just the cheapest way to do it. You can get something like this for, you know, about $100, and then you take it to a tailor that you've got a relationship with, and then, you know, you get a suit that actually looks on you correctly for the most part, you know, and it'll last, depending on, you know, your wear and tear, it'll last you, you know, 10 years, which in modern age is quite an accomplishment. Let me just do a little bit better job fit here so you can see, and it's not properly outlined. And you see that the pants are too long, they haven't been set up, but they're not obsessively too. I mean, I could wear this in public and not look like a fool, especially here in an era where men don't wear suits. I really like the pattern here, and I've been looking for something like that for a while. I'm wearing it with the vest, which is not really what this is for. This is a single-breasted suit, single cut. I'm just doing that to be different, write my own narrative. But yeah, for what this is, it's really quite spectacular, considering the money spent and the amount of adjustments that need to be made, and the amount of adjustments, you know, that the value that I'll get out of this, it'll last me a long time. And yeah, I'm digging it. This is, you know, I'm missing some of the details, but for something that is made to order, it's pretty good. Pretty good. I'm missing, you know, my bit of coloring here for the suit pocket. So anyway, what is the actual purpose of today's video? Has nothing to do with suits. I think this is kind of flat. Actually has everything to do with denim, and I'm getting ready to do not today, probably not tomorrow. At the end of the week, I'll do a proper denim blog post talking about all the upcycled pieces I've got of denim, as well as some original pieces that are on the way. And I know I've been talking about this forever, and I remember when my TikTok first really took off, it's been about a year. It was about a post talking about selvage denim and my incomplete, but still, you know, fairly not impressive. I've got a fair amount of knowledge on the history of selvage denim and its purpose and everything, and I think people really responded to that, especially on TikTok, which is interesting because it coincided with a current resurgence of selvage denim among the TikTok crowd, which is very different from the selvage denim fans that are my age, closer to my age, and the selvage denim craze that happened 10, 12 years ago. It's and it's kind of a different motivation. That's what makes it really interesting. Selvage denim, for those of you who don't know, let me just sort of grab a couple of pieces. Denim, of course, is made of cotton, and cotton is spun on looms. Cotton is originally white. They use different variations of indigo dye, which is a blue dye, either synthetic or fully real. Either way, uses a lot of water, but the type of cotton that you start out with is a factor. But for the most part, if you spin it on a traditional loom, The traditional loom will provide an edge to the cotton that isn't frayed, and as long as you're using high quality cotton and you know the cotton has long, strong fibers, and you weave it the specific way, you get selvage, self-edged denim, and it is considered a premium, and 9 times out of 10 it is. Even when you get selvage denim that's sort of spun on cotton that's mediocre, it tends to have a nicer feel to it. But that's neither here nor there. I'm a fan of most any selvage denim. That it originally was an American staple. Of course, denim originally was workwear. What do I mean by that? You know, as I sit here in professional workwear, and I really wish I had been more accurate about the pants, although I like the shoes. I'm gonna do a little bit more casual version of this. You know, it's weird. It fits me the best. Now I'm gonna start picking on my suit when I'm supposed to be talking about selvage. It's really interesting. So this is the edge you're looking for. This is totally dyed by me, and this is, of course, my favorite brand, Brave Star, selvage, out of California, and they're using Japanese denim. This is something upcycled, but if you've seen any of my other videos, there you go. And it's very different from this, you know, the standard denim that you go, when you go thrifting and you see that entire rack of jeans, none of them have this. Very rarely in the wild do you come across real selvage denim. It's a completely different look, the way the jeans are constructed, because that's a self-edge sewn together, and there's usually a line there, and it's actually very handsome, and there's a lot of history behind it. And again, if you go back in time, all denim was selvage denim, self-edged. And as America continued on its path through mass industrialization, and you know, interestingly enough, it's not just denim that can be self-edged. There's a couple of other fibers that can loomed in that traditional way that produces that finish. But in the last, say, 20 years, collectors have noticed it as a standout feature, and that sort of spread like wildfire, having the denim accrue that feature, and especially the work that the Japanese have done when Levi's, Wrangler, and all the different American manufacturers moved into different types of looms. A lot of that stuff, the techniques and the mindset, that attention to detail, moved to Japan, and in truth, Japan has been doing their own denim since the occupation. That's a crazy way to put it, but that's an important aspect to why they chose to do it. And post-World War II, Japan was an occupied country by the United States. And the uncomfortable, weird thing that you don't get mentioned in all these denim head histories is the why. We know why they became fascinated with American-style denim, because it was very different from their own culture. Why? Well, because they had real connections with American culture. And see what I'm saying? This is a little bit long. You're supposed to see a hint of, so you can do your cuffs and things like that. I'm mixing a suit review with selvage denim. And the Japanese, of course, at that time, with their own original companies, and from back in the 50s, started producing their own denim and put their own take on it. And to this day, with companies like Buck Mason, for example, they're producing their own sort of mid-century adaptation and interpretation of American standards that we, to different degrees, respond to, love, admire on our own, and ignore. Some of the stuff we venerate, some of the stuff they venerated that was original, we don't venerate anymore. I don't mind paying real money for Japanese denim or selvage stuff. It just, you know, as long as it doesn't get too cork sniffy, you know what I mean? Elitist is what I'm saying when I cheese wine cork sniffy type crowds. But a lot of what they're doing is very creative, and that's sort of what has sparked me, because there are a handful of American cotton mills that can still produce selvage denim here in the States, and it's a fascinating dichotomy of their interpretation of Americana. And again, it covers more than just denim. It's a wide variety of mostly mid-century. Preppy is another thing, you know. And of course, here when you think of preppy in the States, we're talking about Ralph Lauren and his interpretation. Same thing, same motivation, same era. same glamorizing and romanticizing of a specific set of decades in America and kind of cherry picking what we hope, or what Ralph Lauren and some of these other brands hope is the best. The umbrella term for a lot of this pre-TikTok, and if you're watching this on TikTok, you probably have already stopped watching it, is heritage clothing. And I have my own sort of take on this, and so that's why this is upcycled. And this had sold once, on TikTok, and in order to really make this stand out the way I want to, probably got to adjust the camera again. But this is an example. That's why I've got my own very wacky, very non-conformist tag that I put on this. But this is upcycled. This was already a salvage piece by a manufacturer with Japanese salvage denim, as you can see there. And I'm doing my own thing with it, which is kind of why I am making this video. This is an announcement video. This is a video about another video. I don't know if you got that reference. I'm the dude playing another dude. And that's kind of where I'm going with all of this. And that's just an example. Let me show you something else. There's two pieces. So like I'm always shooting in front of my door. I'm working on like a different, nicer background. This is something really this. And yes, I'm going to the extreme, which is why I wanted to contrast something crazy like this with the suit. You get it? You get what I'm doing? I'm communicating by contrast. And again, this is something that is totally upcycled. It started life as a salvage denim, I think indigo pants, and I have distressed it to within an inch of its life to more of a used carpenter thing, and it looks like something, see, it doesn't look like something someone homeless would wear, but it does look like something someone crazy would wear. And I have to go to this extreme to sort of find my tribe. That's it in a nutshell. And because a lot of people will look at what I've done, especially since these original first pieces are upcycled pieces and not quite original. I'm gonna have my original denim pieces here within the month. See how wacky that is? And this is Ralph Lauren, another purveyor of Americana from that era. You can see, almost has an urban camouflage sort of look to it. And I've got several more pieces, and that's kind of the purpose of this video. And of course, I'll have a longer version or the same version available on my blog. It's all about doing something like this and this way. I admit I kind of enjoy this with the camera. It's all about doing something original, same but different. And like you'll see me say, you will hear me say frequently, write your own narrative. Take the rules as you interpret them, because that's another thing. You'll see fashionistas say, once you know the rules, you can break them. And that's not untrue. It's just that the other factor is, how do you interpret the rules? You know, one of the things with the suits is, of course, men aren't wearing suits anymore to the degree that they were. It ceased to be an instrument to communicate power. And so, of course, to me, that's like, okay, well, great, then I will invest in suits as well, but that's much more complicated. Suits for me, of course. But denim also has changed its purpose. Everything has shifted. It's not just the fact that men don't wear suits anymore, they don't wear hats, they don't do this, they don't do that. Because during the same time in, you know, the world, let's say post-war America, the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, all the way to the 80s, the time when the baby boomers ruled, the suit changed, not only changed, but the use of denim changed, what it signified as well. So this is it. There's a constant changing evolution and juxtapositioning of certain items, garments, outfits, and what they mean. 100 years ago, I'll give you something that may blow your mind in this video on an interesting note. When you do the gender reveal parties, what blues for boys and pinks for girls, well, that was reversed like 100 years ago. Different colors meant different things. And originally boys wore, baby boys just wore what looks like dresses now and had their hair curled. the culture was different, and the reasons for that and why they had their own reasons, and they believed in that stuff and supported that for the same is just as much fervent logic that worked for them as what we do today. And that's what makes style and personal style such a fascinating subject to me. So I am actually trying to push the envelope a little bit with my own sort of denim creations, my own tastes, and just see who my tribe is, because I'm trying to write my own narrative. And so I hope you will join me. So this coming weekend and the next week or so, watch out for a lot of creative denim. And, you know, some of it'll be crazy, some of it'll be tame, but it'll all be either upcycled or original, or it'll all be my own interesting ideas.